I think I have gotten a little bit of mastery in human relations. Maybe just a little bit, a little tiny bit of mastery in human relations. I said this because days ago, maybe a week or two, I had a conversation with a friend of mine. And this whole mastery comes from the fact that I think I understand how to have hard conversations with people and not allow that affect my relationship with them. And the thing is, hard conversations will happen. You would have an opinion that your friend doesn't share the same opinion as you. Let me just give a quick typical example. Had said something on my status about surrogacy and surrogacy that intentionally excludes the fatherhood. And when I say surrogacy that excludes fatherhood, I'm talking about when there's a random sperm donor and someone gives birth to a child and the child is never going to know their father, right? Especially because this person is intentionally trying to just have a child and doesn't care about fatherhood, right? And this person asked a question about adoption. What about adoption? And I had an opinion. We had a back and forth, a bit of a back and forth. But what happened was we came to, the discussion had a climax, and then we just came to, an end with what we were talking about. Then a few days later, she asked me, we had been, of course, we still chat. She didn't really, share my own opinion. She just said what she had to say as of then. But now she began to say she had noticed that my responses to some of her DMs were either with stickers or emojis. And I said, I didn't intentionally decide to respond to you with just stickers and emojis, my dear. It was because that was my genuine response to whatever you were texting me about. And she said, she was scared that the discussion we had would affect our relationship. And I said, no. I understood that hard conversations will happen between friends. You must try and separate the person from the conversation, especially when this discussion does not fundamentally affect your values in a way, certain things. Because at that point, I knew that because she doesn't agree with me, it doesn't mean that we're not friends. It didn't fundamentally affect my values with her. But there are some discussions, there's some hard conversations, there's some dissecting opinions and values that are really adverse, that really truly affects your relationship with the person when you have had that conversation with them. Imagine your friend saying, I don't mind murder, I don't mind stealing. And you're like, no. And they're like, yeah. And you might realize that you have to move them from friendship to acquaintance because you don't share the same value with them, and for a lot of things. So at that point, I just knew, for me, I've had friendships, I've had people who have had conversations with me, and they don't agree with what I said. But I knew I had this discussion with a friend of mine, feminism. He was averse to feminism and just averse to the fact that women and men are equal in society. They are equal. He was like, no, they're not equal, and blah blah blah. That conversation worried me so much, and sometimes I had to avoid some calls with him at that period. But he's still my friend. This person is still my friend. It didn't affect our relationship because I could separate the person from the conversation from the conversation, because fundamentally people have different perspective and understanding because of their upbringing, comprehension level, as well as where they grew up. They would come to, you can give them your opinion, and after some time you've sown a seed to their heart, and they can change their opinion eventually. But you have to make your points known. By the end of the day, they might not agree with you. You would have to take it in that this person did not agree with you, but they are still your friend, or they are still your acquaintance. You have made them know what your values are. At the end of the day, it's hard. It's actually hard to have a conversation with someone and they do not agree with you. We have to understand that hard conversations must be made, must happen, but you have to fundamentally separate the conversation, the topic, from this person. That is the day-to-day happenings of human relationship. It is painful that how come this person doesn't see things from my own point of view. Darling, bend a bit.